Good evening, students. I can't see anybody in the learning room. I can see only Ritika and Shweta have logged in. Can you tell me if you can hear me or not?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, what has happened to the video of everyone? Okay, good evening, Ritika. Now I can see you.
1 second, I'm gonna call.
Is there any student at the learning room center? Just wait for 1 or 2 more minutes for rest of the students. It looks there is no one at learning center, so let us start the class. Can all of you see the PPT now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Around 2 weeks ago, you people gave the test, right? And what was your reaction, or what is your reaction to the paper? Shweta and Ananya, I request you to kindly start your cameras.
Mom, give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Ritika, did you attempted the paper?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. Found it easy or a difficult or a mediocre?
Ma'am, it was mediocre, ma'am.
Okay. So, Shweta and Ananya, should I start?
Yes, mom, you can start.
Okay. So we'll be first of all quickly learning the or discussing the questions. I will not be pointing out the mistakes. I will be sharing the mind of the examiner when somebody is there to judge you, and what can be the different scenarios when you are responding to a paper. Now, this first question was deliberately put at that first point because this particular concept was there in the book directly or indirectly. NCERT has not taught it. It's not mentioned in the syllabus, but we must understand it. The important thing is what is strength of solution? The key takeaway from this is what is the strength of a solution? The product of M into V, molarity into volume, is referred as concentration, strength of the solution. Shweta, did you know about it?
No, mom, I just joined.
No, we are discussing the paper which you people gave around 2 weeks ago, right? So this was the first question from the paper. Is the question visible to everyone?
Yes, mom.
Okay. Is the discussion going to be beneficial for all of you? Yes or no? What do you say, Ritika?
Yes, mom.
See, I won't be
Yes, ma'am, it will be.
okay. Giving you a solution is one thing, but teaching you, I have particularly not discussed two things in the classroom. One is this strength, another was the normality, right? Because some of you said it is taught and some of you said it is not taught. To me, if you say concentration terms are not in 11th syllabus, but since you people insisted, I carried out on it, right? So in the first question, we have been asked to find the volume. For solving this question, first of all, we must understand what is the meaning of strength of a solution. Strength of a solution is the product of molarity into volume. Is it clear? Shweta and Ananya, it's very difficult to understand your yes or no as your videos are not on. So I request to please do the needful and at least say yes or no so that I can continue with the class. Ananya, can you speak?
Yes.
Yeah, good to see you, Ananya.
Mom,
Good
can you
evening.
see me?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Good to see you. When we connect, it's a pleasure for me. Is this point clear to you that the meaning of strength of solution is when we are saying strength of solution, we are talking about the product of molarity and volume, right? And there is a formula that is M1V1 is equal to M2V2. You must have heard about this. Yes or no? Since we are doing only with one solution, like you have a highly concentrated sugar solution at your home. Now, if you add some water to it, what happens? It is still remains the sugar solution, only the concentration of it has changed as well as the volume, but it is the sugar solution, right? So similarly, here what we are doing, we have to prepare a sodium hydroxide solution using sodium hydroxide pre-existing solution itself. Is it clear? On the basis of it, we can solve this numerical. We know that strength of solution is M into V. Since we are talking or taking consideration of the solution of two different concentration made up of only one substance, that is sodium hydroxide, we will be using the formula M1V1 is equal to M2V2. I think you can see this formula here. This one. So they have given you 1 molar solution and you have to make it as a 0.2 molar. So M1 will be 1 and M2 will be 0.2, which you have to prepare, right? And the volume of the solution is not given to you and the volume of the required solution is 1000. It is simple substitution Out of 4, 3 quantities are known to you. Then you have to convert ml into liters, because we know that molarity and volume terms are, whenever we are using, we must be talking or taking solution in terms of liters. So simple, by solving this, you can do the question. Is the answer clear to everyone? Shweta, specifically to you, because I have not neither seen you nor heard you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what about you, Ritika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you people are preparing notes or something, please add it to there. Now this question, the gram molar mass of zinc sulfate is what? Simple, it was just you have to know the atomic mass of zinc, which was deliberately not given here. Why? So that you people try to understand कि the first 30 elements of the periodic table, you must remember their atomic numbers and atomic masses, right? And if I show you the option, the answer, the correct answer is 161. I would like to tell you few more things here. That can anybody tell me the atomic number of zinc?
Ma'am, 65.
I'm asking Ritika atomic number, not atomic mass.
30, ma'am.
Yeah, that's correct. So be happy. Why are you so sad? Feeling tired?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just have a sip of a sip of water. See, 30 means atomic mass is approximately double or slightly more than double of it, right? So as you can see, it is 65. Don't remember 65.38. If you know it was 65, you could have got the answer. Since the choices were very similar, if you remembered 30, that means you could have ruled out that D will not be the answer. Whenever we are doing the multiple choice question, we must remember how to eliminate. Had I changed the options, that something 180, 190 I would have given, then you would have easily got the correct answer. Making sense? So from the second question, the takeaway is that please remember atomic numbers and atomic masses of first 30 elements. Coming to the next question, you should have done it. Anybody who was not able to do it? Pretty simple question on mass percentage. The formula I have taught you, that total mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100. So it was 2 by 20 into 100. So again, out of the 4 choices, 10 was the obvious answer. Rest cannot be there. Anybody having doubt in this question? Okay. Moving to the next. It was more of finding your focus. It was a pretty theoretical question, and to find whether you are reading the question carefully or not able to read the question paper carefully, right? Sometimes what happens that students start with homogeneous mixture and many of them take the third one. Do you remember anybody has picked up the incorrect choice in this question also? Ananya, your answer was correct or incorrect? I believe your copies have been checked and returned to you.
It was correct.
Okay. Ritika, yours?
Ma'am, it was incorrect, ma'am. I didn't read the option properly.
That's what I'm saying. See, this question, that's what I started with, that I will be sharing why I put up such a easy question, right? There, the paper will be a mix of everything. When we have planned that end of every chapter, we should be having a test. So, not Ritika and precise, everyone should develop the habit of reading the question paper carefully. The first instruction there is read the question paper properly. Most of the time, I told you the common mistake. I don't remember the names who did what. I have not analyzed that way, but I will try to tell you in general what should be done so that you get a correct answer in a smallest time. Now this question, this was to me, it was put with the intent to make you learn about the CH2O and 180. Do you remember we did this compound in class also? Isn't it? But the question asked was in another way. We did what is empirical formula, what is molecular formula, and we discussed this formula that N is equal to molar mass upon empirical formula mass. Isn't it? So first of all, we will put up the formula and then we will answer. If you ask me, how did I answer it? I simply understand CH2O is glucose. That's all I know. And the formula of glucose is C6H2O. But more importantly, if you look at the options, right? C2H4O2, they also have the same ratio as glucose has, right? And this also. Option C is obviously incorrect. They also have the same thing. But instead of solving, see, one way is shown to you that how you are going to solve the question, which we discussed in the class also. Another way is finding out how to get this 180. Isn't it? If I look at the first option, C12, 12 6 Ananya, what is 12 6
72.
72, right? And then 16. So that is how you will reach to glucose most easily, right? What did you understand by it, Ritika?
Ma'am?
I was trying to tell you how to solve this question in another way.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What is your takeaway? What you understood?
Ma'am, I actually did this question in a different way.
Okay.
Yes.
There can be many ways. I completely agree with you, Ritika. There can be many ways of solving the question. But multiple choice question or every question should be dealt on its merit. If it gives you only 1 mark, you must not spend much of the time on it. Even if whatever way you might have got it, it has to be C6H12O6. I told you the shortest way that CH2O should put you the inkling about the the only compound which should be coming with empirical formula CH2O should be glucose. I often use the proverb as it is not needed. Every time it is not needed to solve a question, because the task is choose the most correct answer. I have not asked you to solve the question. That's the bottom line, right? Now moving to the next one. This was balancing of chemical equation. I don't need to explain anything on it. Clear? Or do I need to explain the balancing? The only thing which I will wish to repeat is that when you are balancing the things or any reaction, if you have to Al2O3, if you want to make it as 4Al, so you 2 will always be placed in prefix. Never, you cannot change this 2 into 4. That is the only gentle reminder of a class 10th rule to you. I hope it is clear to all of you. Should I move to the next one? Okay. Now this was again should have been very clear to you. By definition, it is molarity or ppm or normality. Out of these, you know molarity and molality. Molality was very clear to you. So you could have done this question within a fraction of a second. But if you want to know what is normality, should I tell you what is normality? Yes or no? Ananya, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, normality ko samajh, to understand this, we have to understand this formula. Weight of solute in grams into 1000 upon gram equivalent weight upon volume in ml. Just you have to note down this formula. I will explain what is gram equivalent weight. Right? Now, gram equivalent weight is defined for everything in a different way. If I talk about the equivalent weight of acid, it will be formula weight or simply molecular weight divided by base.
For 1 minute, can you show the previous slide?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. See, everything in this definition formula or definition should be clear to you. Weight of solute in grams, that we know, 1000 we understand. The only thing which we do not understand is the thing written as GEW. This is gram equivalent weight, right? Now, what is gram equivalent weight, or how do we find this one? If the compound given to us is an acid, in that case, we simply say formula weight, or simply for you, it will be molecular weight. We will not be dealing with them even in IIT or for whatever exam you are appearing for. It has to be molecular weight divided by basicity. Can anyone define basicity for me? That is a class 10 terminology. Therefore, I'm asking, you must have been taught about the two things. One is acidity and what is basicity. See, I'm writing, you can understand that acids have basicity. And it refers to number of replaceable hydrogen atoms. It means that, as you can see, the first example, HCl, it dissociates into H plus and Cl minus. So what will be its equivalent weight? That will be 36.5 is its molecular mass divided by 1. Sulfuric acid, I have asked you people to learn that. Sulfuric acid, how does it dissociate? H2SO4 will dissociate into twice H plus and SO4 2 minus. Since it has two replaceable hydrogen atoms, its equivalent weight will be molecular mass, which is 98 divided by 2 equal to 49. Similarly, H3PO4, phosphoric acid, it dissociates into 3H plus and PO4 3 minus. So its equivalent weight will be 98 divided by 3. So it should not be 98, it's incorrect. I will just correct this. Noted down or any other query?
1 second, I'm copying it down.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. So that was correct. That is 98 only. In one case, you are dividing it by 2. In one case, you are dividing it by 3. So is asset, please remember that assets, see, this will help you in the chapter of equilibrium. Assets do possess basicity. Similarly, basis के पास क्या होगा? What will basis have? Basis will have acidity. Right? I hope you can write it at your own, that number of replaceable OH ions. Bases, since they produce OH ions, bases have acidity and they have, which is equal to number of replaceable hydroxyl ions. OH is referred as hydroxyl ion. The compound which you are seeing here is H3PO3, right? Although the structure suggests it has 3 hydrogen atoms, but all 3 of them are not replaceable, right? So we don't need to go into that nitty-gritty. We will just concentrate on these simpler ones, right? Because normality is now being removed from your syllabus. Should I move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Similarly, you can see there, these are just the example. Importantly, can you find the molecular mass of sodium hydroxide? This should be easy one. Sodium is, Shweta, please tell me what is the atomic mass of sodium?
11.
Atomic mass. Please be clear, atomic number or atomic mass. 23 plus 16 plus 1, it should be 40. I remember that I have mentioned it in the list of the compounds whose molecular masses you must remember. So what will be its equivalent weight? 40 divided by 1, that will be 40. Isn't it? Right? So moving to the form equivalent weight of a salt, like potassium dichromate, you will be having a detailed study of this compound in class 12th, where you will be taught the reaction in which electrons are lost or gained. You will be writing these equations and they are referred as ionic equations, right? In this equation, you can see that this substance has, or during this reaction, 6 electrons are taking part. So whatever is the formula weight of salt, that has to be divided by 6. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So since it was, no need to calculate, just need to remember these 3 formulas. That normality is moles, normality, how do we define mass of solute in grams into 1000 upon gram equivalent weight. Number 2, how to find the equivalent weight of acid, that is molecular weight divided by basicity. For an acid, it will be molecular mass divided by acidity. For the salt, it has to be the charge or on the cation or anion or the number of electrons which are taking part in its change of oxidation state. Right? That's enough, or rather I will say more than enough for you to know about this. Now coming to the paper again, the question number 8. I'm not interested in this solution. Just need to tell me, do you remember I told you that in the mole concept, you have to find what are the two entities which needs to be equated. So in this question, what are the two equities which you must equate with each other? Although the solution is in front of you. Any answer, Ritika?
Ma'am, can you repeat, ma'am?
I'm saying for solving this question, I'm just writing it quickly. I said mole is equal to 22.4 liters at STP. It is also equal to atomic mass or molecular mass in grams, right? We also said that it is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms or molecules or ions, right? For solving any question related to mole concept, we must know out of these four things which are equal to each other, you have to choose the correct two, right? What are these two in this question?
Ma'am, the Avogadro's number and the STP.
You mean to say volume in liters? Okay, you said STP, that is 22.4 liters at STP. Liters is what, Ritika? It is volume, right? So I believe you must have done it correctly. We simply have to equate that 22.4 liters is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Therefore, whatever I have asked, 67.2 liters will be equal to what? It was simply, I don't know what you people call it there in maths. We call it as unitary method. The 22.4 liters give this much. So one will give 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 upon 22.4 multiplied by 67.2 if we have to find it for 67.2 liters. I hope it is clear to all of you. Is it clear to you, Shweta, also? Ananya and Shweta, I cannot see you, so please respond.
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Shweta, still no response? Okay. The only thing which I will want to tell you about this question is that here the volume is not given directly. It is given in terms of density, right? So density is equal to mass by volume. Using this, I think this is a very old formula. Are you aware of it, Ritika?
Yes, ma'am.
Using this formula, we can find the volume and then we know the molality formula. Number of moles is equal to mass of moles of solute upon mass of solvent in kg. Substituting all the values, you will get the answer. Anybody who needs more explanation about it? Quickly tell me so that we can move to the next question.
Oh, ma'am.
Okay. Again, this was a calculation test. Nothing else. We know 6.022 is equal to 12 grams. So one will be equal to how much, that we can simply find out with the help of unitary method. Some of you might have got different powers to 10 to the power 23. so that if you are not given a mark, then you let me know, I will increase the marks. Coming to the next question. This type of a question I discussed in the class when we were talking about stoichiometry, specifically taking the same example that potassium chloride dissociate into KCl and O2. You simply had to write the equation and find out again what equities are equal to each other. Nothing else was to be done. That 2 moles of potassium chloride, the trick is that you have to write the balanced chemical reaction. Therefore, this question was not pertaining to mole concept only. It was related to mole concept and stoichiometry both. So you had to write the balanced chemical reaction and then simply solve it using the mole concept. Is it clear to you, Ananya?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
You did this question correctly or incorrectly?
I did it correct, ma'am. I got it right.
Okay, good. Again, this we have discussed, but might not have pointed out this thing. Have the same molecular and empirical formula and different molecular and different empirical formula. So I don't think there is a need to discuss this question, right? Moving to the next question, question number 13. Was anybody able to do it? Ritika, you solved this question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Ananya, you?
Ma'am, I solved it.
You got the correct answer?
I got 20% and 80%.
Okay, and what about you, Shweta? Are you there, Shweta? I have not heard or saw you there. See, if you turn back the pages of your class 9th books, where they first use the term, use this topic of isotopes, and there they have talked about the average atomic masses. Remember, when we say that every atom is indivisible, we say an atom as a whole takes part in a chemical reaction. But then how can the atomic mass of chlorine comes at 35.5? They say it depends on the relative abundance. Relative abundance means that we say chlorine exists in 2 isotopic forms. One having atomic mass as 35, another having atomic mass as 37, right? To find its, if it is 25% and it is 75%. Now, on the basis of this, find the average atomic mass. I'm pretty sure that this is a question dealt in class 9th. Coming to this, applying the same concept here, just follow the steps which are given in the explanation, which are pretty correct and systematic. So we assume that boron exists in 2 forms. Instead of boron, I have given you the example of chlorine because we have heard the name of chlorine many a times and somehow we correlate with it, right? So we assume that boron exists in only 2 isotopic forms. One is having atomic mass as 10. Another one is having atomic mass as 11. Assuming that it is X, so what will be the left one? Whatever is the remaining one, that will be 100 minus 1, right? So what will be the average atomic mass? Multiply each one of them by the relative abundance. So X is the atomic mass, X is the abundance and atomic mass is into 10. So what we are doing? We are putting up the relative abundance into atomic mass, right? This is for the B10 isotope. And for B11, what it will be? It will be equal to its abundance was 100 minus X multiplied by its atomic mass, right? Upon 100, because sum total is going to be 100. So that is how you will solve and find the value of X. Like a mathematical expression, put it into 100 minus X to find its relative abundance. Is it clear to everyone? Ritika, have you understood it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shweta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now this was the list which I have asked you to remember by heart for their atomic masses. Even if you have written 18, 44 or 16, you can assume your answer to be correct, right? A theoretical question, we can always explain what is law of multiple proportion, but the definition has to be very precise. When an element reacts with a definite amount of other element, right? In the simple whole number ratio. And then how does this law point the existence of an atom? Because we do not get a fractional compounds. That is a simple statement you should have written to get the marks in it. Moving to the next question. Able to solve this one? Ritika, were you able to solve it? No. Ananya, you?
No, ma'am, I didn't solve this question.
Okay. Even after getting the answer, you never tried to do it?
Ma'am, I actually solved, I tried to understand the answer, but I wasn't able to understand it.
I didn't understand. What are you saying, Ananya?
I looked at the solution, but I was not able to understand the answer.
Okay. So since I have solved it in the same way, I will just discuss them one by one. The first thing was, first of all, I was trying to avoid this type of a question, but then I felt that there is a need for you to, all of you to understand that at times, some of the reactions will not be given and you will have to write the reaction at your own. This reaction was chosen purposely because it is one of the reactions which is an example of a precipitation reaction and which is there in the class in your practical things also, right? Are both of you there? So first of all, you have to write the chemical equation first, right? And then only we can solve the question. The question says that 10 ml of sodium chloride containing potassium chloride. That means we are given an impure sample. The sample has the impurity of potassium chloride in the sample of sodium chloride, right? So they are saying that 10 ml of a solution of sodium chloride containing potassium chloride gave an evaporation on evaporation, it has to be 0.93 grams of mixed salt. The salt mixture gave 1.68 gram of silver chloride by reacting with silver nitrate solution. Calculate the quantity of sodium chloride in 10 ml of this solution. So first of all, let us understand the question and then probably I will ask you to solve it at your own. See, they began with sodium chloride and then they added silver nitrate into it. and it gave you silver chloride. Is it clear? That this is an example of a precipitation reaction. Can Ananya define what is a precipitation reaction from your class 10th syllabus?
Well, it's like um, when two when two compounds or elements react with each other, they form a precipitate.
Oh, okay. I'll put it like that, that when you are mixing two colorless solutions or even two color solution and something settles down at the bottom, then that is called as a precipitation reaction, where you can see two liquids are being mixed and something is settling down at the bottom, right? So they gave you, they say, had it been a sodium chloride, pure sodium chloride, right? Then what would have happened? The results could have been found with the help of mole concept, that this many grams sodium chloride gave this many grams of silver chloride. So whatever is being asked, we can always find that. But they are saying that it was an impure sample, right? Is the meaning of question clear to all of you?
Yes.
Okay. So if the meaning is clear, I have given you an insight. The solution is with you. The next thing we will do in the next class is, I wish you to, I may be giving you one or two more questions of this type, because believe me, stoichiometry is a very vast topic. And even if we do one question per class, it will be still not ending even after 10th class. So the most systematic way, in my opinion, is till now the problem was that you were not able to understand the question itself. Now the question is clear. Every data, including the solution, is given to you. But I want you to approach it in a different way. Or even if you have, you can agree with this solution, right? We will be taking care of this question in the next class. Is that fine with everyone? This is take it as your homework, which is not given on the portal, but by me in the classroom itself, right? Clear, Ananya?
Yes.
Okay. Now this question. Now, since normality is clear to you, what is normality? This question was based on a paragraph. And is the question visible to all of you?
Yes.
Okay. The question number 18, 19, and 20. If you have read the NCERT, you would have got the answer. What is the weight of 1 mole of nitrogen? N2 is written specifically. I remember when we solved some questions in the classroom, I deliberately did not give you the formula, N2 or O2 or whatever it was, right? So what is the rule I told you to find what should be there? Should it be a simple atom or a molecule? You understood what I am asking, Ritika? If I write, let's say beryllium or boron, and asked you the molecular mass of boron, atomic mass of boron, what does it indicate? No idea? Now, what would be the atomic mass of carbon, as in diamond, and as in graphite? Should it be atomic mass or molecular mass? Shweta, any idea?
No, ma'am.
Ananya, any idea? No. See, I think I made this point. See, when I'm saying when I write nitrogen, what should come into your mind? The atom or molecule? When I write sodium, what should come to your mind? Atom or molecule? When I write oxygen, I remember if you see the recording, I have discussed it someday. May not be in such a great depth, but discussed. See, we must, similarly, what about argon? Have you heard about the element argon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now tell me, how does nitrogen exist in nature? Any idea? If you don't remember, please try to remember them as I teach you. Nitrogen exists as N2. Whether somebody has written or not, if you have to solve a question, please use nitrogen as N2. The solids like metals, let it be sodium, magnesium, copper, silver, gold, anything, they have to be considered as atom, right? Oxygen exists as O2. Unless or until specified as ozone. Did I teach you that oxygen exists as O2 and O3? They are what? How they are related to each other? O2 and O3 are blank of each other. What will be the word you will be fitting there? Please revise your class 10th. Diamond and graphite are
The allotropes of carbon.
allotropes of carbon. Good. Why? Because they are made up of oxygen but have different structures. I have clearly drawn oxygen atom. When two are combining, forming oxygen, three are combining, forming ozone. So what are they? They are allotropes of oxygen. Are they or not? Yes. Right, Ritika. Have you heard about red phosphorus and white phosphorus? Okay, maybe a bit difficult. It will be P4 is red phosphorus and white phosphorus is simply P. Again, red phosphorus, white phosphorus, black phosphorus. They are related to each other's allotropes, right? Now, water as liquid, water as gas, that is a steam, and water as solid, that is ice. Food for your thought, or just think, are they the allotropes of each other? If yes, give me the reason. If no, give me the reason.
How do you repeat the question?
Ananya, I cannot hear you clearly. Can you please be a bit louder and repeat it again?
I asked if you could repeat the question.
My question is, like water. We know formula of water is H2O. It exists in the form of liquid as we drink and use in different day-to-day activities. Water exists as gas in the form of steam. Water exists as solid in the form of ice. Can I say all three are allotropes of each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. How? I will say they are not allotropes of each other. The point which you people missed in class 10th was that all allotropes must be in same physical state. And arrangement of atoms has to be different. So does it match with any of these qualities? I will say no. Water will have a structure of water as it is, same everywhere, right? And the physical state is also different. Remember, diamond, graphite, fullerene, coal, coke, everything is in solid state, right? And the arrangement of atoms is different. You have seen at least 3 of them in detail in class 10th. Diamond is having a tetrahedral structure, whereas graphite has a slippery layer-like structure. Fullerene has C60 dome-like structure, right? Phosphorus, if it still remains in syllabus, we will talk about it in class 12th. But water, there are 3 different forms of water which are not related as allotropes. Is it clear? See, allotropes will be one term which we'll be using when we are talking about we are solving different numericals, especially related to sulfur. So let's be clear. Moving to the next question. Yeah, we were discussing this one. I think you can answer. The first one is 17. You now know the equivalent weight. What is it? I have just given you, so you can find it out, right? Then 1 mole of nitrogen, you must know. SI unit of intensity is candela. And then difference between standard and metric units, you can just read it. It is there in the book. I need not to teach you again and again, right? In case you have any issues, we can always discuss it again. This question, I believe, should be a pretty straightforward question. How many of you want me to discuss it? Vapor density I have given you. If you remember, vapor density, twice into vapor with density is equal to molecular formula. With the help of this, the first part was pretty obvious one, that how to find a number of atoms. The simplest ratio, then with the help of vapor density, find the molecular form, find the value of n, and then solve the problem. Ritika, Ananya, and Shweta, do we need to discuss it in detail?
No,
I didn't get you, Ananya. Please be louder and say it again.
no, it's okay. You don't have to.
Okay. Okay. This question now, again, you should be able to do the, in the beginning of the class, I have taught you M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2. Using that equation, you can solve this question again. We have discussed both the formulas, density, how to use density formula to find the volume, that you can do, And then you can apply M1V1 is equal to M2V2 because acid is same, that is HCl. In the first question, it was NaOH, and in the last question, it is HCl. Right? So should we start the next chapter? Or, and we will, as I told you, we will be taking up that question in the next class, or maybe I'll try to find 1 or 2 more questions so that we just complete with the practice, we will complete the chapter 1, right? So as I got the request to start with the chapter 3, can somebody tell me, are you very sure about your chapter 2? All the concepts intact?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But for my sake, I just want to ask you one question. If you are not able to answer it, then you must revise your concepts, right? Zinc 2+. Atomic number of zinc is 30. As some of you or all of you may be knowing. Write its electronic configuration before we start the next chapter of periodic classification. Modern periodic table is entirely based on electronic configuration, right? Write the electronic configuration of zinc 2+.
Mom, should we write in form 1s2, 2s2, or like?
Yeah. See, when we come to class 11th, we always want you to write orbital configuration. I'll be precise now.
Is it 1s2, 2s2?
Yeah.
2p6, 3s2, 3p6. 3d10, 4s2.
Any other answer? Shweta, what is your answer?
Ma'am, 1s2,
Yeah.
2s2, 2p6.
Okay.
1 second.
Okay.
I'll write it down and say 1 second. One S2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10.
Excuse me, Mom.
Yeah.
Mom, I said 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to correct it. I lost it somewhere in between. Shweta, I'll appreciate if you can repeat your answer. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6.
3s2, 3p6, 3d10.
3d10.
No, 1 second. 3p6, 4s2, and 3d8.
3d8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, I'm getting the answer as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10.
As same as Shweta.
Ah,
Mom,
Okay.
I got the same answer.
Hmm?
Mom, I got the same answer. I didn't say the first answer. I said 3D10.
Then who said to me? Ananya said to, who said to it? Somebody told me 3D8, huh? Or no one told me that? Okay. See, there was a purpose for asking you to write this configuration. If I ask you just one more, 24. I assume everyone wrote this one. So I will erase this one, the first one. Quickly do it for 24.
Mom, I got 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, and 3p4, 3d4.
Okay. Shweta, your answer is?
And the same answer.
Same answer. Ritika, your answer?
ma'am, I got the same, ma'am.
I will say it is incorrect. Please refer back to your NCRT. There we say 24 and 29 are exceptions. They say since you might be taught that exactly half filled and exactly fulfilled orbitals are more stable than nearly half filled and nearly fulfilled orbitals. Have you heard about it? It's there in NCRT. So when it happens for 24 and 29, we say it will be 4s1, 3d5. 3d10 is the fulfilled and 3d5 is exactly half filled. 4s1 is exactly half filled. Whereas in the previous case, it was exactly fulfilled and it was nearly half filled. Similarly, 24 is the atomic number of chromium and this is the atomic number of copper. You get everything same. In the end, if you write it like that, you will get 4s2, 3d9. Again, sorry. Again, it has to be the correct answer is 4s1, 3d10. So, Ananya, were you taught like this or not?
Yes, ma'am, I was actually taught the definition, but they didn't tell us the exceptions.
Okay. Ratika, what about you?
Ma'am, actually, they didn't fully teach this concept yet. Yes, ma'am.
They haven't. You are not taught about this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about you, Shweta?
No, they not teach all this. They not teach the
Okay. It is very important for us to know the configurations. The zinc 2 plus you have got correct. We will some other day when we move to modern periodic table, we will take it up why it is important to write it as 3p6, 4s0, 3d10. Right? Not now, because then we will not be able to cover up what I wanted to cover up exactly today. Right? So please pay attention to at least 3 rules which you are taught for that. This above police, once if you have not heard about them, if you have any doubts, we will take up in the next class first, or before we move to the modern periodic table. Because modern periodic table, everything is based on the configuration. What I can tell you, if you write the configuration of copper as 3d5, 4s1, you will be able to tell me the correct position of copper in the modern periodic table. If you write it as 4s2, 3d4, its position will be incorrect. So that is very important. It's a gentle request to all of you that please look at the second half of the chapter very carefully about writing the electronic configuration along with exceptions and reasons, right? Moving to the classification of element, the next chapter. The first 2 paragraphs of your book are just the history part of it, where you are taught why it is important to classify everything. All of us are grown up and mature enough to understand why it is important. Because if you won't classify, the things will become a mess. Let that be your books, your clothes, and you must have seen your parents, mother or father, taking the help or struggling themselves to classify the things at home. So classification is important for every one of us. As of now, you must be knowing that we know about existence of precisely 118 elements. After atomic number 90, they are all man-made elements. Your lifetime or my lifetime will be too less to understand about them, right? So it is important to put them, classify them. Like in our homes, we have a kitchen, we have refrigerator, where we put everything which we think can be spoiled at a higher temperature, right? Similarly, in oven, we used to cook food. So we have different shelves for putting the cooking utensils, the utensils which are used for eating. Otherwise, because if somebody asks you to find a tumbler in your home, you know from where you have to go and take it out. Similarly, you may be having at least 10 tumblers, 20 tumblers, and equivalent amount of plates and everything. Had they not been segregated or classified by your mother, you won't be able to identify them. So what scientists started, they started making groups of them. So if they know about the groups, they know their properties. Like one of the scientists classified them as metals and non-metals. Can somebody tell me few properties of metals? Metals are?
They are lustrous, they're sonorous, they are good conductors of electricity.
Very good. Metals are malleable, ductile, sonorous, good conductor of heat and electricity. Most importantly, moving towards the class 11th, in terms of electron donor or acceptor, what are metals? Metals are electron donor or acceptor? If you don't remember, try to correlate things like sodium. Can anybody tell me what it does? It accepts electron or gives away electron? You have done the formation of sodium chloride in class 10. Therefore, I was asking the question. Sodium gives out 1 electron to chlorine. Sodium we know is electron donor. Chlorine is an electron acceptor. So what we can say, and sodium is a metal. Metals are electron donor and they are electron acceptor, right? So one of the way of classifying substances is into metals and non-metals. But the number of metals is too small as compared to number of metals is too large as compared to non-metals. So they discarded them. Some of the metals have exceptional properties. Metals, sodium is such a soft metal that it can be cut by knife, whereas copper is so hard. Copper, iron, they are so hard. So they discarded it, right? Then as the science progressed, various instruments were developed. They started classifying elements into groups on a more scientific basis. You must remember that when you were taught by atomic structure, at that time, did you notice that neutron was the last particle to be discovered? And it was, I think it was discovered in 1932. And rest of them were discovered in 18th. What could be the reason that neutron was discovered so late? You are taught atomic models or not? So periodic table has roots there, so we will quickly go through them. You must have been taught about Thomson's atomic model, where they say the entire positive charge is spread over an area and electrons are embedded into it. That was the first model to explain the structure of atom, but it did not quantify the number of protons and new electrons present into it. So it was discarded. The next which came was Rutherford's atomic model. Rutherford gave us the existence of nucleus. He says nucleus was positively charged and electrons are revolving around it in fixed shells or orbits. Right. Now, electron was known to the scientist, proton was known to the scientist, but neutron was not known. Reason being, neutron is neutral. If you have read about how the proton or electron was discovered, because they showed deflection or reading. Like when you switch on, the bulb glows. Similarly, when you put a positive charge in the electric field or the magnetic field, it shows deflection. A bulb may glow, they may start moving to a direction. That was the reason neutron was discovered very late. Initially, since nucleus was the center, it was Rutherford who gave the existence about the nucleus. People or the scientists at that time believed that most of the properties of the atom or element are governed by its nucleus, not the electron. So the basis of the earlier classification was atomic mass, not the atomic number. So the first classification was given by Daubigny. Daubigny did two things. He noticed similarity in properties. He could find some triads like that. Triads means group of 3 elements. What he did was, he named these group of 3 elements which are having the similar properties in the increasing order of atomic mass. Let's say they were element as A, B, and C. Then he said, if the atomic mass of element A is X and that of C is Y, then he said the atomic mass of element B will be X plus Y by 2. Is it clear? Shweta, is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is what he did. But there are certain issues with it. As you can see that he arranged the chemically similar elements. That means elements which were having the similar properties in the increasing order of their atomic masses in the group of 3. This is called as Dubinier triads or simply the triads. One such triad was of lithium, sodium, and potassium. Then he said atomic mass of lithium is 6.9, or we can take it as 7. Potassium is 39, and its average is 23, which is the approximately atomic mass of sodium, right? Dubinier could find only 3 such triads. The one other example was of calcium, strontium, and barium, right? I've just put few properties. Some of them will make sense as of now, some of them will not make. Like the oxide of them, of each one of them are alkaline in nature. If you again remember your class 10, what is alkali? Water soluble bases are called alkali. They have valency 2, which we will take up later, right? So just to prove that point that they are chemically similar elements, I've just put it that way, right? When he calculated, he found that the approximate atomic mass was similar to that of sodium or strontium, right? And the third and the last example which he could find was of nitrogen, phosphorus, and arsenic. Apart from that, approximately 60 elements or other 50 elements were known at that time. He could not find that, right? As you can see, the atomic mass of phosphorus in this case is approximately 44.45, right? Which is not closer to 31. So that means it is not an example of Dubinier's triad. Refer to your NCERT if you want to remember the total 3 examples of it. Although they are not so important, not so required for you, right? But you must be aware that he could find only 3 triads from approximately 50 elements which were known at that time of point. So therefore, that law of Dubinier's triad was discarded because it was not successful in classifying all the elements known at that time, right? So whenever you must have done when you were doing atomic models, you found Thomson, then you discarded with reasons. Then you came with Rutherford, discarded with certain reasons because it could not explain the stability of the atom. Then came the Bohr's atomic model. Just for the curiosity, Bohr's model is also rejected. After that, who gave the atomic model? Or which is the model which we follow today? Have you heard about the Summerfield atomic model? Any idea, Shweta?
Ma'am, can you repeat what did you say?
I said, first of all, there was Thomson's atomic model, which we discarded because it could not explain many properties of atom. Then came Rutherford's atomic model, which told us about the existence of nucleus and orbits and shells and electrons in the shells. Then it was rejected because it could not explain the stability of the atom. Then it was replaced by Bohr's atomic model, in which you read that what is the orbital energy and all those things. And this model is also rejected. Now, what is the latest model which we follow? or which rather the scientists follow? Again, please go refer to your chapter 2. It is Sommerfield's atomic model. Sommerfield, S-O-M-M-E-R, Sommerfield's atomic model. Schrodinger wave equation is written in your books. Please refer to your chapter 2. Now, have you heard about the Newland's law of octaves? Ananya, have you heard about the Newland's law of octaves? No. Yes or no? I couldn't hear. Understand? Shweta, have you heard about Newland's law of octaves?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Dominion is clear to everyone?
Yes.
Newland? Okay, thank you. See, Newland's law of octave is based on the musical notes. If you look at the Indian music, it has 7, we call it as sur. I don't know what do we call it in another language. Like it's like ABCD of music. They are named as Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni, Sa. Have you heard about that? So when we talk about music, we say music has got Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, and after that again it begins with, it again comes back to Sa. So what can we say? That every 8th note will be the repetition of the first one. Again, I really do not know the music of your region. I'm so sorry for that. But whenever you listen to a song, either I have heard Hindi and English only, the 2 main lines are repeated after every paragraph. Similarly, he noticed that when he arranged, remember at his time, 56 elements were known, right? And what he did was that he arranged them in the increasing order of their atomic masses. Remember the number 56. When we will come to Mendeleev in the next class, we will talk about 63. You can see the number of elements is increasing one by one. So he said, if you arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses, every 8th element will show the properties similar to the first element. Is it clear to everyone? No.
Yes.
Okay. I hear, Ritika, I said I saw your head nodding like this. Does that mean yes or no?
Me, ma'am?
You said yes or no?
I said yes, ma'am.
Okay. At times you people nod like this, which is no to me. Okay. Anyways, this is a list of elements which were known at that time. Whosoever does not, these are the elements which he could rather classify. Some of them are displayed here. Some important elements, I'll appreciate if you can just remember their symbols if you are not so familiar with any one of them. If you remember, very good, right? So this is the increasing order, and then he placed them like this. Can you see it? Right? But again, the issue was same, that all the elements he could not classify, right? He arranged all the elements known at that time in the increasing order of the atomic masses, and he noticed, like musical notes, every eighth element is similar in properties to the first one, right? But you can see certain issues there, which I think since the class time is over, we will be discussing it in the next class. So please revise your chapter 1, chapter 2 precisely as I told you, the second half of the chapter where electronic configuration in terms of SPDF is taught to you, right? And in the next class, we will just catch up with the first one question, then moving to the Newlands and this Mendeleev and coming to the modern periodic table. Before I forget, just remember how to write Newlands. To me, it is important. Look at the position of apostrophe. The name of the scientist was Newlands. Newlands will never have a apostrophe S because Newlands is its name itself, right? Please make a note of it. Okay, so thank you. I hope you learned something new, and we'll be catching you soon in the next class, right? Okay, have a good day.
Thank you.
Welcome.